What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds bbq. My name is Brother Robinson, and today I'm gonna show you how I made this beautiful, delicious, tender, crispy whole duck, including duck breast, duck confit, some foie gras, and a beautiful sauce. Coming up! If you follow the Leroy and Lewis Patreon page, you'll know this time of year is duck season. And that's because there's a wonderful duck farm about 30 minutes from my house that makes some of the best poultry I've ever had, including some amazing ducks. And if you're looking for something special to put on your Christmas table this time of year, this might just be it. So that being said, today I've got a beautiful foie gras duck that I'm gonna break down and cook up, and it is going to be delicious. This is a duck. As you can see, this is a fresh off the farm full duck. So let's go ahead and make this a little more camera ready. There we go, now it looks a little bit more like a duck that you'd find at the grocery store. And as I mentioned, this is a foie gras duck. So if I open up this back cavity here, we're gonna find a lot more fat in there than a typical duck. And if I go a little deeper, we're also gonna find a nice big chunk of foie gras. Smells so good. And if you're unfamiliar with foie gras, it's just the liver of the duck, except it's extremely fatty and super delicious. Considered a delicacy. Now we're gonna break this thing down. Whenever breaking down any kind of bird, I always like to do a spatchcock first. Just makes things a little bit easier to visualize. And I usually end up taking the spine out anyway, so it's a good place to start. Just right down either side of the spine. Kitchen shears work great for this as well. And just like that, spine removed. Next up, we're gonna take off these wings. And if you've ever broken down a chicken, it's very similar. All birds are pretty easy. Duck wing. And at this point, I'm gonna make life just a little bit easier, and I'm just gonna split this thing right down the middle as cleanly as I can. Beautiful cut. We could throw it on the chud box just like this. But we're gonna take the leg and the breast apart. You can see at this point it's super easy to do that. And there we have it, two beautiful duck legs. And typically I would snip that off and have a nice clean leg, but there's still a decent amount of meat on there. And more importantly, there's a lot of skin and fat on top. And the way we're gonna cook these, I wanna have a little extra fat in the bag. So I'm gonna leave it on. And once it gets nice and crispy, I bet it'll be real tasty. And now we've got two bone-in, skin-on, great-looking duck breasts. I'm gonna take the bones out. And there are many ways to break down a duck or a chicken. I think this is the easiest way to learn if you've never done it before. Great for beginners, the whole remove the spine, spatchcock it first, because then you can see everything, and there's a lot less guesswork. And it's kind of fun. And this time of year, you can get frozen ducks all over the place. I've seen them at many grocery stores. Although this damn wishbone can be a little bit tricky. But that's a much cleaner bone than if I was gonna do this from a traditional standpoint. And look at that beautiful duck breast. Now on to the other one. And to make life a little easier, we're gonna pull these duck tenders out of here as well. Save that for a little pit snack. Two beautiful duck breasts. And there we have it. That's our duck fully broken down. We got our two breasts, our two legs, two wings, foie gras, the bones, including the spine, feet, head, rib cage. And over here is just some extra fat and pieces of trim, but mostly fat. So I'm gonna render this down into some duck fat. And to start things off, I'm gonna throw all these bones on the pit, which is already fired up from earlier's lunch. Just get some color on those, get them nice and toasty. While our bones smoke away, let's go ahead and get these seasoned up. We're gonna be cooking these two different ways. The thighs, we're gonna salt them and then sous vide them overnight. And the hope is that all the extra fat in there is gonna melt down, and then it's gonna basically turn into a duck confit in the bag. And for the duck breast, we're just gonna salt them and dry brine them overnight, and then we're gonna throw them on the grill tomorrow. Nothing fancy here, folks. Although typically in a true duck confit, these would be cured in a salt sugar solution overnight, but we're not gonna do that this time around. We're just gonna season them pretty generously. Looking good to me. And for these guys, just like a steak. Nice heavy coat, but nothing too crazy. And before we season this side, we're gonna score the fat. So with a nice sharp knife, we're just gonna do a little crosshatch pattern. Try not to go into the meat, just score the fat. And this is just gonna help this fat render down because there's a lot of fat on this skin, but that's looking good to me. On that they go into the fridge uncovered overnight. I also hit these with some black pepper and some granulated garlic. Not sure why I did it off camera, but in the baggy bag they go. I'm also gonna throw in some of this duck fat that we trimmed off. Hope there is that it'll render down into some nice duck fat that'll help turn this into a confit. Suppose I could have gone out and bought some duck fat as well, but I'm trying to keep it easy this time of year. Ooh, very sucky. I always like to go ahead and give it a couple of extra seals, just in case. Looking good. Into the sous vide we go. According to chef steps, they prefer 158 degrees. Let's do it. Have I showed you guys my fridge table over here yet? Super convenient. Oh, don't mind if I do. Water is heated. Duck legs in. We'll see these in a long time. This video is brought to you by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Because especially this time of year, things are getting real hectic, and having someone else do all the shopping for you and most of the prep work ahead of time can really help you out. With thousands of meals and dozens of meal plans to choose from, HelloFresh fits in with every diet or whatever you're in the mood for, whether that's quick and easy, meat and veg, one-pan dishes, you name it. It's great because everything is pre-portioned, just what you need for that meal. Like this adorable little bottle of balsamic vinegar. I never have balsamic vinegar on hand, so I'm not gonna buy a whole bottle just for one meal. And because they only give you what you need, meal plans like this cut down drastically on food waste. And also have a surprisingly low carbon footprint. 100% of their carbon emissions are offset. When you cook as much as I do, having someone else do all the shopping and drop it off right at my door for a few meals every week is super convenient, especially this time of year when grocery stores are absolutely crazy. And the instructions are incredibly easy to follow with beautiful pictures on there. So if you're new to the kitchen, this is also a great place to pick up all the basic techniques. Beep. I knew this day would come. The first salad on Chuds bbq. What a day. I mean, what doesn't look delicious about that? So if you're looking for a little bit of help with your meal prep, just getting started in the kitchen, or simply want to spend less time in the grocery store this time of year, head over to HelloFresh.com using the code chudsbbq14 for up to 14 free meals plus 3 gifts across 5 boxes. Again, that's HelloFresh.com. Link in the description of this video. Code chudsbbq14 for up to 14 free meals plus free shipping plus 3 free gifts across your first 5 boxes. Thank you, HelloFresh. That's a good one. After a couple hours of smoke, these bones are looking sufficiently roasted. In the pot we go. Throwing the wings in there too. I'm making a duck stock, by the way. Might as well. So we're gonna let this simmer overnight. Mary, did you know that your baby boy had a snake inside of his boot? Did you know? After a nice overnight confit, I chilled these down a little bit, and as you can see, I think we were successful with the whole duck fat situation. Should have put on gloves. Leave all this goo behind. And look at these beautiful confit duck legs. Don't mind if I do. This mini chud box is rocking about 300 degrees, so on we go. Let's hope we don't have a grease fire. Immediate grease fire. Luckily we're high above the coals. Ooh, I think we'll leave this lid open for the first little bit here. And don't forget about our beautiful boobies here, looking nice and firm. Definitely darkened up a bit. That dry brine really did its job. Feeling real nice. Now all we need to do is finish seasoning them up. And because they're dry brine, they are a little bit dry. So we're gonna go on with a binder of a little bit of oil here. Probably enough for both of them. And if you've seen me cook steaks or anything before, you know I like to really rub it in until it's opaque. Really makes it nice and tacky and sticky. If not, it may just drip off and take a lot of the seasoning with it. So nice little trick. Because you know, if you're gonna use a binder, might as well have a tasty one. You guessed it. 16 mesh black pepper and some granulated garlic. Ooh, oh, these are gonna be tasty. These thighs are looking real nice. This process does not take long. And remember, these are already fully cooked, so we're really just trying to warm them through and crisp up that skin. Getting some nice color on the underside. God, that smells good. And because these duck tits are pretty thin, we're just gonna blast them hot and fast on the old charcoal grill. But remember, there is a lot of fat on there, so flare-ups very well may happen. Oh, the smell. Oh, Jesus. Careful, folks, careful. And just like that, these beautiful duck breasts are done. 120 internal. As for the foie gras, because it's incredibly fatty, it cooks up a lot like butter. So if I was gonna throw this on the grill, it would definitely just go up in flames and all melt and be no bueno. So my favorite way to do it is just hit it with a little blowtorch here. Get some wonderful color on it. Beautiful. Ooh, that's hot. Ow. Foie gras toast points. Oh, it smells so good over here. This is a stock that I just reduced all the way down to make this little duck demi. Should be nice and gelatinous and super flavorful. But without further ado, let's see how this duck breast came out. Beautiful medium rare on there. Nice crispy skin. Fat is well rendered. That's what you want to see. Do a little sneak peek for Papa. God, I love duck. So flavorful. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to my good buddy, Mr. Nick Gamboni.
Hello.
We call them bones around these parts. Bones, would you like to try some duck?
I would absolutely like to try some duck.
Dive in, man. Let me gravy this breast up for you.
Gravy it.
Ooh, oh, moisten it up. This is just a thick duck stock that's been reduced to be nice and gelatinous.
Like little skin on there. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. It's so tender and juicy.
I know we just dove right into the breast, but probably should have started off foie gras.
With the appetizer,
Yeah.
Would make sense.
I'm a big fan of foie. Super tasty.
Oh my God.
It's just so rich.
So decadent. Can only eat one of these.
Yeah.
It's a lot, but so good. Very rare occasion I get to eat this.
I was gonna say, it doesn't come around often, but when it does, real treat. That skin got nice and crispy on the old chud box.
Oh, I was not expecting that skin crispy and the meat tender. That's like perfect.
Oh, that little nub I left on there.
That's the best part.
So good. Oh, wow. God, I love duck.
There's so many restaurants that overcook duck too. It's just perfect. It almost tastes like steak.
Right? I mean, it's cooked just like a steak. Nice medium rare. I bet this video is gonna tank because no one ever cooks duck, but they really ought to. I think it's time for the official taste test. Oh, we're going high today. Approved. John, do you like duck?
I was coming up with a funny line, but I couldn't. Beep, beep. Good girl. Good soup. Good soup.
All right, y'all, and that is how to make an absolutely amazing duck. I highly recommend giving this one a try. Duck is super flavorful, and if you've never cooked one before, you definitely got to check it out. It's a great cook to have in your arsenal, and also it would make for a great holiday meal. But that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that subscribe button, like the video, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments down below what you want to see me cook next. If you do give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds bbq. I love to see what y'all are cooking. Major shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making these videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace.